Hello, people of the world watching videos that have to do with automobiles on the internet. Welcome to this. My 1974 RA21 Toyota Celica ST with the 2UZ VVTi V8 out of my dad's old Toyota Tundra under the hood. If you're new here and you'd like to get caught up on this project, up above my head is either a link to the last video where I got to run and start for the first time, or also could be a delicious recipe for lettuce-wrapped litter box truffles. Today's mission, now that the car has successfully proven it is capable of running, is to undo everything I've been working on for the past couple months, because I need to paint the engine bay on this thing, and I can't do that with an engine in there. Now ideally, I would love to be able to just drop the engine, transmission, and subframe assembly all out as one through the bottom. Yeah, it does. Okay, good. However, that is impossible because of the fact that it's a 4-cam V8. There's that. It's physically wider than the frame rails, so it can't drop down. I'll be glad when it's the last time I ever have to do this again. This part sucks. Tight fit, that's for sure. Aha! So here's where things gotta get difficult. I gotta drop the subframe and engine quite a bit, but I gotta take the crank pulley and the belts off. A slight issue I have with this front cross member, when everything is fully assembled, there's zero clearance issues with the harmonic balancer. But when I go to pull the engine, you can see it protrudes over the cross member just a little bit. And again, when everything is fully assembled, no issues. It's just when you go to drop the engine to remove the transmission, it hits, so you have to remove this. My fingies. Here you go. I don't know if it's gonna lower with it being attached to the transmission. Jeez, that was sketchy. Okay, it went down a little bit. I should be able to get the transmission out without taking the steering rack out, to be honest. I got everything low enough. I gotta take the steering rack out anyway, but after. Today's mission, now that the car has successfully proven it is capable of running, is to undo everything I've been working on for the past couple months, because I need to paint the engine bay on this thing, and I can't do that with an engine in there. Now ideally, I would love to be able to just drop the engine, transmission, and subframe assembly all out as one through the bottom. However, it is physically impossible because of the fact that it's a 4-cam V8. Ouch! It's physically wider than the frame rails, so it can't drop down. Well, it's starting to sound stormy out there. I'm going to bring the Bronco in. Might seem a little bit ridiculous, but it's always that time you say, no, there's no chance it's going to hail. It's just a small rainstorm. That's the time that you get a bunch of dents all over your vehicle. This drivetrain's such a tight fit. To be able to access the upper transmission bolts, you have to have the rear of the engine facing downward, but you can't do that with the steering rack in the car. Other side. With the assistance of my wobbly discombobulated multi-extension extension. Got it. There's one right there. There we go. That's the last transmission bolt right there. Normally it's more of a hassle when it comes to installing a manual transmission, lining up the dowel pins and getting the splines right, but for whatever reason, it went in way easier than it did coming out. That's what he said. I hope not. Starting to go. Got out of my head! Oh! I think it's off. I think. Gotta be out. Got it. Now that the transmission is out of the car and the engine's already unbolted from... It's fine. That 400+ pound iron block V8 is not going anywhere. It's perfectly capable of floating. Initially, I thought I was going to have to pull the intake manifold to pull the engine so I could mount the hooks on it and also disconnect these knock sensor wires, which are, the plugs are down in the abyss. There it is. One of 2 knock sensors. Maybe I can unplug it from the front. Nope, 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 nope. All I'm going to end up doing is snapping the plug. It's not worth it. Pull the intake manifold. It's not like it's hard. and go. Because of the fact that I did not finalize my engine harness and wrap it in loom and chafe wrap, it gives me the opportunity to make any final little tweaks and adjustments to it once I have the engine out. As for the fuel lines, I can make some modifications to those, but what really needs to get changed is when I hard mount the fuel pressure regulator on the firewall. I have the hiccups and it really sucks. Ironically, the second after I said that, they stopped. This thing's so heavy. Yeah, that's it. Dangerous thing, dangerous thing. Don't do what dumb Sarah does. Oh, there goes some fuel. Okay. Everything looks good still. Knock sensors. Disconnect the power wires down in the abyss. I'm gonna redo this area a little bit. There you go, starter wire. Brake master cylinder has got to come out of here. The real challenge is going to be whether or not I have to pull my brake booster too. I haven't tested that yet. Let's see if I can leave it in. It's the second day on this video. Got a belly full of sushis and some energy, so let's do this. That's going to be in the way. I believe there's some universal law that when bad things start to happen to you, it comes in a wave of multiple bad things. I've gotten to the point where I'm unfortunately kind of numb to it because on average I do between $4,000 to $5,000 in damage to camera equipment every year. Oh yeah, I forgot. I don't think I can, yeah, I have to lift the car to get this under it. I got lucky when that camera fell over. It didn't break anything other than the mic cord. That's it. That's luck. To access this hardware, you have to remove the intake manifold, and this does not clear the hood. And I'm not going to modify them because that would just look stupid. Okay. Since I already have the clutch and flywheel installed on the back half of the engine, I'm not going to be sticking this thing on an engine stand because honestly, I don't need to do anything to it other than just let it sit while I paint the engine bay. There you go. That's it. That's all it's holding the engine in. Ooh. Yeah, I cleared the brake booster, no problem. That's good. Yeah, I think that's good. I think I can clear. On the plus side, I was able to do this without having to remove the headers. Haha, perfect. Which I wasn't quite sure if that was actually going to be possible or not. Heavy. Oh, I just got pissed on. That was a bunch of fuel down my shoe. There, that can sit until the engine bay's painted. You remember how I said I didn't break the camera? Well, yeah, RIP $2,200 lens. I could probably film these videos on an iPhone and half of you wouldn't notice the difference, but for those of you that can tell the difference, I do it for you. In the meantime, switch things up to my RF24 1.8. Nice bokeh. Don't cut yourself. Oh my god, it's slippery underneath the car. I kind of want to put a bulkhead right here at the firewall on this harness, so that way it's removable. But that's also entering a new place for corrosion to get into the harness and to have potential wiring issues later. So I'm actually not a fan. I don't know. It's like trick-or-treating for baby robots. All kinds of snacks in here. Just out of curiosity, I wonder how big of a bulkhead this is. 66, 67, 68, 69! 69 wires have to pass through here, which I don't have the space for over there because they take up way more room than just the wires do. I will admit though, this is gonna drive me insane trying to paint this bit. I guess I could flip it over the top when the fender's gone. Even though from the factory, the radiator core support was a mishmash of black and the factory body color, I prefer having the entire thing black because it kind of just makes it disappear behind the grille and the headlights. As much as I want to try to preserve this car and its originality, there's just little things like this that I want to do OEM plus and go above and beyond on. How do I do this without getting covered in fuel? Oh no. Oh, this is gonna make a huge mess. Oh, I'm peeing fuel everywhere. Oh, come on, you stupid f***ing thing. Oh, there we go. No more fuel leak. And Sarah, how do you keep your hands clean? Well, you know, I just go through gloves like people go through toilet paper. Steering rack. I should probably repaint this steering rack. Well, this old school radiator mount's pretty dry rotted. I'm surprised it lasted all those years. This right here is why I decided to mount the radiator using those little bushings, because you can see that's how it was from the factory. I am not keeping these things here at the shop. These are going to my house and they're going in the bed of the Ranger, which is garaged and has a car cover over it. Ooh, I gotta be so careful with these. So now that I got the fender off, I want to show you a little bit of an issue I have with these massive meaty tires and Watanabes. There. As you can see, I contact that lip just barely. Adding that to my Bay Prep to-do list. I'm sad that all these little plastic clipper doodles are dry rotted and broken. But I have a fix for that. Brand new camera lens. Let's see if I can not destroy this one. Now 2 days later, I was able to get that lens. Way easier without the engine in. Now that I got all that stuff out of the bay, I have to make some modifications to the firewall to get a throttle pedal in this thing. There you go. I don't have to do much, but I gotta slightly modify 2 of the nutserts right here for the throttle pedal to mount to. Go gadget monkey arms. Ouch! So, if I drape this over, because I'm not painting over here really. If it wasn't for the fact that I have 5 different shielded circuits in that bundle, I would just do the Canon plug, but I don't want to have to cut a shielded circuit because you're just going to introduce interference having it pass through that Canon plug. So I do have an extra area down here where I could run a bunch of wires, but then I'm reinventing the wheel. So, power bulkhead, maybe I'll move that one up. So the engine bay is full of these little tabs to hold wires and hoses together. And it's metal, but it's also coated in rubber to make it flexible. You can see the rubber's peeling off right here. I kind of want to keep those, at least the ones that are functional, because as much as I can keep the engine bay looking original, despite it having a V8 from a Tundra in it from like 40 years later, the better. This might look like a tub full of concrete, but it's actually scuff stuff and it smells delicious. Don't eat it. And this is a red Scotch pad. 320 grit. Even though I got some fabrication to do, I just want to have a nice clean engine bay so I can see what I'm working with. Oh, that was dirty. The whole purpose of this stuff is essentially supercharges the scuffing ability of the Scotch-Brite pad to ensure you don't miss any areas, but it also acts as a cleaning agent as well. Wax and grease remover. And even though I'm not painting just yet, I want to make sure this bay is clean before I do the metal work. This is going to require some fabrication and my marker is going to disappear. So I'm gonna mark this permanently. That was really loud. So that way I can still see it when I do my scrubbing. All right, now I know exactly where that's gonna be. This is gonna need to get body worked a little bit. Well, maybe not, you won't see it under the radiator. Now as far as the metal work and the engine bay goes, I may do a couple additional chassis welds up here, as well as I have to relocate some brackets and just do some general tidying up of things that are no longer going to be utilized with the V8 that were used on the original 18R 4-cylinder. All these little crevices, like in between panels and stuff right here, is how you have a paint job fail. So all of this needs to get scuffed to make sure I have mechanical adhesion as well as chemical adhesion of the paint. As I started to get all this old grime cleaned up off the engine bay, it was interesting to see the original color finish in here, and the fact that Toyota did the same thing back in 1974 as they did in 1991 on my MR2, where the paint is just a slightly different color because it lacks the metallic flake and pearl. This step that you see right here that I'm doing is why so many car paint jobs, aftermarket ones, costs so much money, because to do this correctly and the amount of hours of labor that it takes to do it correctly, most people don't want to pay for, and a lot of body shops don't want to flat out do it even if you do pay for it, because I mean, this isn't fun. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I am weird. I enjoy this. One What an insane difference it is from the left to the right, just scrubbing alone what that's done. And take note how this has like a satin eggshell kind of finish to it, and it doesn't have as much metallic flake or pearl as the exterior of the car. When I started filming this video, my end goal for the workload was to have the entire engine, transmission, and driveline removed, the bay completely cleaned, sanded, and prepped, and ready to begin the metal work and then the final sanding to get it ready for paint. But then life decided to throw me a curveball, and as much as I try to just stick purely to the content of working on vehicles and not make this a vlog channel, it's difficult in the fact that I literally work 7 days a week and you essentially watch every single day of my life, and it's completely impossible to fake a smile when you are dealing with stuff like this. So the area down under the clutch master cylinder, the brake fluid did an excellent job at removing all the paint. I thought it was rust, but it's just bare metal, so that's a huge plus that I don't have to deal with. Down here, it's super speckled, so this is definitely going to show up through the texture of the paint, so that's got to get taken all the way down and evened out and sanded. All the stuff where you see the red oxide primer, it has some adhesive stuck to it because there was actually like an adhesive strip between it and the fender for some foam. That has to get taken down to bare metal and evened out. And then of course I got my modifications I need to make, to include prettying up the firewall area where I had to massage it. So it's the following day. I have tried filming this now like 5 times. I'm trying not to cry because I literally cried myself stupid yesterday to the point where my eyes were swollen. So I'll just get like straight to the point. My cat Ping, who some of you have known, I've showed him in videos before. He's 11 years old. I've had him since he was a baby. I call him Ping because when I first got him, he looked like a ping pong ball. He was all white. And the other night, he was swatting at his face with both front paws. It was really weird. I didn't know what was wrong with him. And I checked him out. I looked in his mouth, and I thought maybe he just like bit his tongue or something because it didn't seem like there was anything physically wrong with him. And the next morning, I woke up and I went to see him, and his whole jaw was all swollen. So I took him into the vet for emergency kind of checkup, and I thought it was just going to be like a cavity or abscess tooth, and come to find out he has a tumor, which means it's likely bone cancer. There's a slim chance it could be a bone infection, but judging from the x-rays, probably not. It's really weird because it came out of nowhere. He had no visible sign of anything the night before, and then it's like his chin's huge now. I'm sorry if there's like 50 million cuts in this. I hate doing that in YouTube videos, but I also don't like slobbering with snot and spit coming out of my face. Needless to say, luckily I have a car review that I gotta edit for you guys next, so it'll give me a couple days. I'll probably end up finding out the biopsy results here in the next couple days, and then I'm gonna try to stay focused, get back to work on this thing. Hopefully he has like some good months ahead of him still. I don't know how long. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you soon with another video. Bye.